and welcome back to the light side of the paranormal. My name is Jenna, and usually I have Alice with me, but today I am solo. And today I am doing a video for you about the Green Children of Woolpit. So the Green Children of Woolpit is a story that dates back to the 12th century, which was recorded by two 12th century chroniclers, Ralph of Cogsdale and William of Newborough. Not much is known as to whether or not these stories are real, or if they're folklore, or fantasy story, or an account of a historical event that was misdocumented. But nonetheless, this is a story that has endured over 8 centuries and is a known story that still has questions about it to this day. So what's the story of the Green Children of Woolpit? So what happened was, in the 12th century, in Woolpit, Suffolk, England, people were out reaping their fields when they encountered two small children, a boy and a girl, brother and sister. They seemed completely normal, other than the fact that their skin was green. They also spoke an unknown language and wore clothing made of unrecognizable material. They were accepted into the home of Sir Richard Decane at Wilkes. They seemed to be starving, and when they were offered food, they refused to eat it. They were offered multiple things to eat, including bread, a pretty normal food for the pickiest of eaters, and still they wouldn't eat it. It was said that they almost looked at it like they didn't know what they were supposed to be doing with it. Eventually they were given raw beans and they devoured them, and that was the only thing they would eat. So they survived off these raw beans for a really long time until they eventually learned to like new foods and ate those. The boy became sickly at a certain time and he eventually passed away shortly after the children were baptized. The young girl adjusted okay. It was said that she was still always remained a little off, but she adjusted well enough. She ate regular foods, and after she started having a regular diet, her greenish tinge went away and she started to look like a normal child. She also adjusted and learned how to speak English. Once the little girl learned how to speak English and communicate properly, she told her story. So this is the story of the Green Children of Woolpit as told by the green girl. She explained that her and her brother came from a place called St. Martin's Land, which was a subterranean village. So what that means is that they lived underground, or seemingly underground. And everybody in their land was green. She said that this land had no sunshine and that it was a land of perpetual twilight. She also said that there was another land across the river that seemed luminous. She said that her and her brother were tending their father's flock when they found a cave. They went through this cave, and she said they wandered through darkness for a very long time before they came out the other side and were bombarded by bright sunlight, which they found startling, and that's when the reapers found them. Eventually this little girl grew up and she had a regular life. She got married, and that's all that's known. So like I said earlier, the stories were recorded by these two 12th century chroniclers. Other than that and their stories, there's really no documented cases of this. I mean, that's it. This was in the 12th century, a very long time ago. But what's really important is that this story has remained a prominent story for so long. So some explanations for this story are, as said by someone whose name is Paul Harris, he suggested that perhaps the children were Flemish orphans from a nearby land called Forum St. Martin. This land is separated from Woolpit by the River Lark. So that could explain for the land with the luminous land on the other side of this separating river. At that time, lots of Flemish immigrants arrived there in the 12th century, and they were persecuted under King Henry II. In 1173, a lot of these Flemish immigrants were killed, and some of them may have fled to the Thetford Forest, which to children may have seemed very dark a lot of the time, giving that constant twilight effect. He also said that perhaps the children wandered through an old mine passage, bringing them out on the other side of the river to Woolpit. Also, these kids were very malnourished, and there is a medical term called hypochromic anemia, which affects the skin tone, giving your skin a yellowish greenish tone to it. How green their skin was, or whether it was just a tinge or very, very green, is not really documented because this was such a long time ago. It's not like we have pictures, it's not like we have studies. So was it just a green tinge caused by hypochromic anemia, or was it undeniably very unrealistically green? Who's to say? On the other hand, it was documented in 1621 by Robert Burton that his take on things were that the children fell from heaven. So whether that kind of means they were children from another dimension or children who were extraterrestrials. It was also theorized that they came from a planet and were accidentally teleported or sent to Woolpit on accident. And there was this planet that circled the Earth. And by the way, I'm not gonna get super into it. I mean, I'm not an astrologist, but it was explained that the way that this planet circled, that the only place that these people on this planet, or people, these beings on this planet could live in a certain area on this planet because it would be too cold on one side to live and absolutely too hot from the sun on the other side to live. So they lived in this twilight area of the planet. So what do you think of this account of the green children of Woolpit? It's a very interesting account. It is very old, but the fact that it's still talked about today is very interesting. So what do you think? Were these children who were just Flemish immigrants who really didn't have an idea of what was going on or where they came from? Or were these children from another planet or another world or another dimension that accidentally stumbled into our land? Another theory is that this cave that the children walked through was some type of portal, bringing them from one dimension into our dimension. So thanks for joining me for this fun little paranormal legend. And remember, if you like our content or like paranormal content in general, make sure to like our videos because that helps us out a lot. And make sure that you subscribe and click your notification bell so that you get notified every single time that we post paranormal content. And remember to always live your life with love and light. Thanks guys. See you in the next one.